welcome back to my channel. Thank you so very much for joining me today. If you are new to my channel, thank you so very much for clicking on this video. I hope you will join the D squad, all of my lovely DDs. Thank you so very much for those who have subscribed already. Thank you for returning if you are returning subscriber. Thank you so very much for everyone's support and your comments, guys. They really mean so much to me. They uplift me, they encourage me. Thank you so very much for everyone who has sent comments, which is what brought me to doing this video. As you can see in the title, I had a lot of questions and comments and people just wanting to know about side effects. Like I said to you guys in my previous videos that I'm not a doctor, guys. I try just my best to bring out or give you guys information that I come across, and also my experience on how this medication is working for my body. So it's the same thing with the side effects. Our bodies are not the same. We do not have the same experiences. We do not have the same side effects. We do not have the same duration of how long the side effects last and things. We all have our different experiences, so I'm just going to go into mine, and I'm going to give you remedies that helped me through the side effects and that are still helping me through the side effects. So I hope this video is helpful, or at least gives you some sort of direction or encourages you to keep on going. So let's dive into the side effects. Right now, I'm experiencing, a few changes. There's things that are a bit different from when I started it on. So I started Ozempic on 0.25 milligrams when I was in the hospital. And also the side effects for me was it was almost non-existent on 0.25. But as soon as they started me on the 0.5 milligrams, that's when I started feeling the difference. I didn't know it was the medication at first, but looking back, I know I kind of saw the symptoms or the side effects kicking in when they started me on 0.5 milligrams, right? So I started experiencing now a bit of nausea, but not so bad at the beginning. But I started experiencing the lack of appetite. So as I started the medication in the hospital, and I started on 0.5. So every time I took the 0.5 milligrams every week, the side effects would get worse. So I got to a point where the side effects were really bad for me. I called my doctor when I was at home. I said to him, I cannot take this. The side effects are really bad for me. However, I stuck it out, and that's what the doctor said to me: stick it out. And that wasn't easy to just stick it out. But we'll get into that a bit later in the video. So when I started on the 1 milligram, I thought myself, if the side effects are so bad for me at the 0.5, how bad is it going to be when I am on the 1 milligram, on the higher dosage? And guys, it was different for me, because as soon as I started taking 1 milligram, the side effects started getting better, and I was actually quite surprised. So we'll get into that as well. But let's start with the main one, the one that everyone, okay, let me not say everyone, or most of us complain about, and that is the nausea. So nausea was pretty bad for me. I just didn't like the feeling of being nauseous all the time, and I was nauseous throughout the day. I was constantly feeling sick. So the 0.5 milligrams was pretty bad for me when I was on that dosage. And for me, the nausea was it was so intense that it would actually feel like dizziness. That's how intense the nausea was for me. So when I called my doctor and I'm like, Doc, I cannot handle this nausea. All he said to me was, Diz, I can't tell you anything else other than just stick it out. Your body is going to get used to the medication and then the side effects will subside. Didn't believe him at that time. I was just too upset. How can this doctor tell me that? And then I asked him, is there any medication I can take that's just going to help me with just, to getting rid of the nausea? So he also just gave me a few remedies to try, and which is the common one that they talk about, that I've heard people on Ozempic talk about. I'm also on a group on Facebook, a support group. I, I think it's a support group where we share our experiences with Ozempic. We share our the side effects and our feelings and whatever on Ozempic, and we share our journey with each other. So go and join a support group. Just hopefully you'll find the right one for you. They will just those people, you support each other, you talk about your things, your side effects and things, and give each other advice. It's really, really insightful. So one of the remedies, I would call them remedies, that the doctors suggested to me is to buy like ginger tea, or buy fresh ginger, and you just put a few slices of the ginger in hot water or in cold water, just for that ginger taste. It helps. And a lot of people, even on the group that I'm on Facebook, they also suggest ginger tea. Anything ginger helps with the nausea. For me, the other thing, the second thing that helps me a lot, and I kind of gravitate more towards this one than what I do with the ginger, and that is lemon. For me, lemon instantaneously takes away my nausea, and I can just suck on a slice and it's gone. Even that funny taste feeling on your tongue, it gets rid of that funny taste on your tongue. After meals or before meals or during the time when you are very nauseous, lemon has helped me. My fridge is never without lemon. I slice lemon in everything. I put it in my water. If I'm feeling a little run down, I would put it in hot water and drink it. It's winter now, it's flu season and all that, so the lemon, it helps me. Even just taking the lemon itself and just sniffing on it helps with the nausea. The cold water also helps with nausea, just to kind of subside it, or sucking on some ice, just a cube of ice or 2 cubes of ice. It also helps just calm the nausea down. So yeah, the in the summer, and that was during the heart of summer when I started on Ozempic, that helped me a lot as well. The other remedy that I got is also just to eat smaller meals, right? Don't just eat like your breakfast, lunch, and supper. If you can break down your breakfast into 2 meals, your lunch into 2 meals, and your supper maybe into 2 meals if you like, but have smaller meals frequently, and chew your food slowly. Don't rush through your meal, just chew slowly and take your time with your food. That also helps. Also, your diet plays a major role in helping with in keeping away the nausea. If you try and avoid like fried foods, all your junk foods and stuff like that, that also brings the nausea extremely forcefully back. So try and stick to your steamed food, and food that you prepare at home, and food that is not oily and fatty and all that. It helps with that you don't get that nausea episodes frequently during the day. I've also experienced that keeping down the carbs your carbs, your specific carbs like your breads, your rice, your millie meal, your pap in South Africa, your your pastas and stuff like that. Um, just keep them to a minimal. Because with me, at the beginning of when I was on the zero point 0.5, those starches used to make me feel really ill. So I would avoid bread, I would avoid rice, I would avoid pasta, I would avoid all of that. Um, because they really made me feel very, very sick. So I didn't eat um, those starches for quite a while, right? Avoiding sweet things like your desserts, cakes, biscuits, um, all the desserts, sweets, whatever. I avoided them because they made me feel really, really sick. I felt so sick when I would eat sweet things, so I avoided it. And then I'd also just changed. If I have a cup of coffee, I would either have it with a little bit of sweetener, like your canderels and that, or I will have it without sugar. So the last remedy I want to share with you guys is a remedy I got on the group when people were also advising each other about the nausea. It was basically try and take your medicine before you go to bed at night. That seems to help a lot of the people on the group. So I decided, let me try it, because normally I would take my injection in the morning, before I go to work. It could be the fact that I changed and started injecting myself at night before I go to bed, or it could be the 1 milligram kind of propelled me getting used to the medication. So, or they work together. I don't know, guys, but I took that advice. So I also found that the nausea also just subsided. It really, the intensity was not so bad. Okay, let's go into the next side effect, and that is the diarrhea. Diarrhea for me was pretty bad at the beginning. I used to have diarrhea all the time on when I was on 0.5 milligrams. And that used to, I think because when you have diarrhea, you lose a lot of fluid. I think that also played a part in the fatigue side effect as well for me. So I had bad diarrhea at the beginning of the 0.5 dosage of Ozempic. So what after a while, I just asked my doctor as well, what do I do about the diarrhea? And he said to me that I should always make sure that I am hydrated. So drink enough water. Also, I found that if you stick to what Ozempic likes, which is your diet, whatever you put in your mouth, that also plays a big role. Because if I were to have eaten like a piece of bread or anything that's starchy, like your rice and your pap uh, uh, um, and your pastas and all that stuff, I found that I had bad diarrhea if I ate that. So I kind of like stayed away from those starchy foods or carby foods, because I used to get bad diarrhea. And then I found that the diarrhea kind of stopped when I totally stopped on carbs or those carbs. So the next method I used, or remedy that I used, if I got diarrhea really bad, and sometimes you get diarrhea with cramps, and I would go to medication. I used to buy this medication, and it used to help me a lot, especially when it's that diarrhea with cramps. Um, I would use this medication as well. And I think for me also the diarrhea was a combination, because when I'm about to go to that time of the month, either the day of or the day before, I get diarrhea. That's my signal as to that time of the month is coming. So I don't know if that also, like, they combined with each other, then I'll get that bad diarrhea where, you know, you have it with the cramps. So then I'll have that medication as well. It stops diarrhea in its tracks. That medicine is quite strong. I think it's quite strong because if you can stop diarrhea and the cramps like immediately, you know, it's quite strong. And the directions on the medication also would say you should take it every 4 hours. So normally I'll just take the 4 scoops and drink water and the diarrhea would stop. All right, the next side effect would be the constipation. For me, I couldn't understand it. Like one day I have diarrhea, the next day I'm constipated. Like, and I wouldn't take the medicine most every time. I only take it at, you know, when I really, really need to. But it was just so crazy because I mean, for 2 days you would have diarrhea, and the next 2 days you'll be constipated. Like it was just weird for me. So once again, good diet. That was one of the remedies for constipation. Good diet, especially fiber. You should include a lot of fiber. If constipation is one of the symptoms that is really bad for you, look into your diet as well. Try and, you know, change your diet to a more high fiber diet, because my dietitian used to say, eat vegetables, you know, especially your free veggies. They've got a high content of water, and water also helps with the constipation. Which takes me into the next remedy that I used to use, and that was just to drink enough water. That would also help you not have so much constipation. And if you are constipated, the one remedy I used that used to help me as well was hot water. Drink a cup of hot water, or drink hot water as frequently as you can, and that also used to help with loosening up things. Right, then the next one is the stomach aches. Like I would have, you know, discomfort in the stomach. I don't know if it was gas or is it cramps, but it would be really, really painful when my stomach just hurts. Sometimes when it's gas, the gas has to come up or it has to go out. So what used to help me is heat pads, or hot water bottles, you know, putting it on the area where it really hurts, just for that gas to also just find its way out. I found that a hot water bottle or a heat pad or something warm used to help me, and then the gases would escape. And then if you have like stomach aches and you know, cramps and things like that, also just warm water with nothing in it, no honey, no nothing in it, just warm water. Drink it as slow as you can and just let it do its thing. It used to help me a lot, just to get rid of and soothe my stomach. So hot water used to help me a lot. And then also just the last thing is the fatigue. And fatigue for me, I used to have it before, you know, before I was on Ozempic. So I always used to also just, you know, think it's just my body. I sometimes get fatigued. So I think with the Ozempic, it kind of got really, really, with the Ozempic, it got worse. So I asked my doctor, not the doctor from the hospital, like my GP and the chemist where I would get my medication from, and they suggested I get a multivitamin, just to help boost my system. So they suggested this multivitamin. So that's the multivitamin I've been taking, and it's been really helpful to me. It helps me with energy. Whenever I feel like, you know, I'm really, really flat, I would take it. I take it on a regular basis, but every second day. So as I said, the journey with Ozempic is not the same for everyone. We all don't have the same symptoms. I mean, we all don't have the same side effects. The nausea could be maximum for me but minimum for someone else. Our bodies differ, it's not the same. I hope this video was helpful for you with your walk with the Ozempic, or if you are still just researching Ozempic. I hope this video helps you also just find some answers that you were looking for. So for me, the side effects is much better now. I've been on Ozempic for what, 8 months now, or 9, going for the 9th month that I've been on Ozempic. So the side effects is much better. So the side effects actually lasted me a good what, 6 months, 5 months, there around. It was intense, but then now it's much better. So my side effects has really come down a lot. I do still get nausea, but not intense, not remotely intense, as I did at the beginning, or those first few months. It's nowhere near that intense. The diarrhea also is, I get diarrhea now on, my regular time. When it's gonna be that time of the month, my body warns me to say that that time of the month is coming, and then I get diarrhea. And then also just constipation. I get it from time to time, but it's not so bad. I make sure that I stay hydrated. For me, that is my key. Stay hydrated when it comes to that one. So yeah, I think that's it. The dietitian has started me most on those carbs, like your rice and your breads and your pastas and stuff like that. But there's particular ones. I don't just eat any of those rice and breads and things. There's particular brands that I'm eating. There's particular ones. You have to check the ingredients on the things that you are buying, and that has helped me. So in slowly introducing my body to those type of carbs. Now, that is the update that I wanted to share with you guys on the side effects now that I am experiencing and that I have conquered. That's the end of the video. I hope this has really been informative for you. So I'll see you guys in my next video then. Bye, all my DDs.